Hi, I'm Broderick Spurgeon, and my topic is how the digitalization and technological advancement of music recording has affected musicians' livelihoods. So today I'm going to be talking about how the transition between physical mediums of recorded music, that is vinyl to cassettes, to now modern day streaming and downloading services like Spotify and Apple Music, iTunes, etc., and the rapid surge in the accessibility to in making music and uploading music has affected the relationship between the artist and the consumer. Um, and I argue that it has weakened that relationship. Nowadays, consumers don't realize that the musicians they listen to are artists that need to get paid. And of course, many musicians nowadays, from Metallica to Taylor Swift, have complained about this and have protested against this. So, for my first artifact, I wanted to start out with my vinyl record collection, this archaic form of media, but I think it's important to start off with this because it represents how people used to consume music. And although it has had a recent popularity in recent years, actually, I think surpassing the amount of CD sales, um, it shows how people used to buy music, and that is going into a store, looking at a cover, or hearing a suggestion from a friend, or looking in a magazine, hearing about it, and hoping it would be there, and taking a risk. And if you liked it, then great. If you didn't, well, then you just wasted a bunch of money on a big black disc. But now, with the introduction of streaming services such as Spotify and Apple Music, you don't pay the artist directly. You pay a company that distributes the music, and that is somewhat like paying a record label for a record, but it is much more broad. It is much less personal. So now, instead of paying $10 for a single album that you don't even know if you like, you can pay a company $10 per month for nearly every single piece of recorded music. That's insane. Instead of directly tapping into an artist's livelihood by directly paying for a record, you are merely dropped to a sea of this ginormous catalog of music. And honestly, that makes a lot of artists nowadays, new and upcoming artists, and already established, well-known artists, seem almost disposable. And so that brings me to my next artifact, my MIDI keyboard. And that is signifying how easy it is for people to make music nowadays. Now more than ever, have random people, just been creating music from the get-go, no training needed. All you need is just some basic technology, and you're set to be as creative as you want. And on one hand, that's a beautiful thing. It shows that art is not becoming limited to people only in the know. It has been extended to the average man. Everyone can create art nowadays. However, that almost dilutes uh, other artists' pursuit of relevance in a way. So earlier I mentioned that streaming services were like a sea of music that you're just dropped into. You have so many options of so many new and upcoming musicians under this very DIY work ethic, just because they are able to make music so easily, just because of the accessibility of music software. So with so many options, it feels like all of these new and upcoming artists are just merely commodities under similar genre tags. So nowadays all SoundCloud rappers are branded under this one tag. And sure, I'm sure there are there are hidden gems, but they're merely disregarded simply because they are SoundCloud rappers. Or another example, bedroom pop. The name speaks for itself. It's musicians creating music in their own bedroom. And of course, they are not a monolithic wave of like this monolithic movement. There are artists hidden in there that are very good. So with so many artists nowadays just screaming for relevance on streaming softwares and platforms, all the consumer sees is just a link to click on. And with how streaming services are designed, a lot of people will just listen to one song by that artist and like it, listen to that for a few days, and forget about that artist entirely. So just the way streaming services are really designed does not help this massive wave of people trying to make their mark. So my next artifact is an article from the BBC, and it's talking about how much artists are actually getting paid through streaming services. And one example I like, just because it's citing one of my favorite electronic artists, John Hopkins, and he was saying that he only got paid he got paid less than a cent for about 90,000 streams. Nowadays, artists have to rely on touring and promotion, advertising, just to make money. It's hard for them to actually make money through their actual art. So my conclusion is consumers need to reevaluate the way they listen to and buy music. So there are solutions to that, like downloading iTunes and getting albums individually, or going to Bandcamp and paying for albums one by one, like many people used to do before streaming services popped up. Spotify got popular in the early 2010s, and since then, it's left a huge mark on how the music industry is run. Once more people start doing this, we can give the musicians and artists the respect they deserve. Thank you.